Okay, hi everyone. Today I'm going to be telling you a Moroccan bedtime story. And this is like a story from a long time ago. I actually have my little sister here with me. I'm actually going to tell her the story too. So let's get started. So one day there were two brothers, and one was named Abbas. Well, I'm naming them. One was Abbas and one was Muhammad. And Abbas had 7 sons and Muhammad had 7 girls. Abbas used to bully Muhammad because back then it was shameful to have girls. And when you had sons, it made you feel like more powerful and more like, and it made you feel more proud. One day, Muhammad came home sad, and one of his oldest daughters came up to him and said, "What's wrong, Daddy?" And he said, "I'm sad because my brother was bullying me because he has 7 sons and I have 7 daughters." Okay, so Muhammad was sad. His oldest daughter came up to him and said, "I have an idea. But before I tell you the idea, I'm going to name her. Her name is going to be named Fatima." Okay,
that's like my name.
So Fatima said, "Well, how about let's have an adventure to test who brings pride or shame, and we can see who survives or not. And when we do that, then we'll see who's better, girls or boys." Oh, I have a question. Hey Sarah, do you think girls are better or boys better?
Yes.
Girls? Do you think it's right to bully people because they have girls and you have boys?
No.
Yeah. Okay, so the next morning when they woke up, the village walked out to see what was going to happen that day. And when they went to see what was going to happen that day, the 2 brothers met again. And when they met, one of the brothers said, "How about our kids have an adventure to see who's stronger or who brings shame?" And he said, "Okay, that's fine." Then he said, "We're going to get ready right now so we can do it in the morning the next day." Okay, so the next morning,
Mommy.
they were walking and walking and walking. Muhammad was poor, so they were poor, so he had to give his daughter, Fatima, a donkey, water, and old bread. And then Abbas, they were rich, so he gave his son a horse, food, water, and money. Okay, so, and I'm going to name the son, it's going to be, okay, so my sister's sleeping right now, so I'm going to take this slowly. Okay. I'm going to put pillows on her. Okay, now. Abdul Fattah. A horse, food, water, and money. Okay, so then they met up. Fatima got on her donkey, and started riding, and also Abdul Fattah did. So when they were walking, Abdul Fattah decided to eat all his food for some reason, and then he said, like a few minutes later, that he's hungry, he asked Fatima if he could have some food, and she said, only if you give me your horse. And he said, fine. There was 2 separate paths, one very, very sunny and one very, very dark. Abdul Fattah said, no, I don't want to go in the dark one. I'm way too scared. And Fatima said, well, if we want to show who brings pride, then we have to go through the dark one. And they were fighting over it. So once they were fighting over it, Abdul Fattah said, well, how about we just go separate ways? And then Fatima said, okay. So Fatima went through the dark way, and then Abdul Fattah went through the light way. So when Abdul Fattah was riding the donkey through there, he saw a farm, and he was very hungry. So he stopped at the farm and asked the farmer who was working there, can I have some food? And the farmer said yes, but you have to work for it. So he worked. Now we're going to talk about Fatima. So she was walking through the dark one, and it started to get darker and darker and darker. And she heard something, and she got very scared. But she saw a hula, which is like a scary monster thingy. Like, she was reading her fairy tales, and she remembered what her mom said. She said, if you ever see a hula, just run up and hug him, don't be scared. And that's what she did, and then the hula said, I'll treat you like my daughter and take care of you. So she took care of her, and when she did that, she said, you can eat whatever you want. And she was making sure that Fatima was a good girl, and she was. And one day she was getting very sick and tired. She said, I'll give you this key, and it opens a door. She said, don't open it until I die. When she died, she opened the door, and she found gold and a whole bunch of things. So she grabbed it, and she was on her way back to her dad and the village. And meanwhile, Abdul Fattah was so hungry and tired, and Abdul Fattah said, what did you get? And she said, well, I just got some henna and some flowers for my mom, and what did you get? And he said, I got gold and stuff like that. So they were okay with it, and they walked home. They went to sleep, and the next morning, when they woke up, they met back together. And once they did that, they showed each other what you guys get. And when they opened the bags that they have, inside Fatima had gold and everything, and dresses, and Abdul Fattah had nothing. So Abdul Fattah's dad was very ashamed and very mad. And then Fatima's dad, Muhammad, he was so happy and proud. And then they saw that day who brought pride and who didn't. Then he went up to his brother and said, I'm sorry. And I want to say one thing from this story. This story is about, it doesn't matter what gender you are, boy or girl, regardless. It matters that you are kind and that you are smart and you make good choices. And I hope you like the story, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!